Good evening from Washington. I'm Larry O'Connor, and today is the day that President Trump predicted over the weekend that he would be arrested, or as many legal observers suggest, he would turn himself over to prosecutors in Manhattan as they've impaneled a grand jury that is contemplating criminal charges against the former president, against the current candidate for president in 2024. Now, there's much to discuss about that issue. But let's first turn to what Governor Ron DeSantis, the man who is Donald Trump's chief rival for the Republican nomination, and he is running, I assure you, take it to the bank, Ron DeSantis is running for president. What he said yesterday after many days of silence about this potential arrest. Let's take a look.
You're talking about this situation with, and look, I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that. But what I can speak to is that if you have a prosecutor who is ignoring crimes happening every single day in his jurisdiction, and he chooses to go back many, many years ago to try to use something about porn star hush money payments, that's an example of pursuing a political agenda and weaponizing the office.
Listen, my goal here on this program is to not take sides. And it's not easy right now in the right-of-center media sphere. You're either with DeSantis or you're with Trump, and you can't be in the middle. Well, forgive me, I am in the middle. I actually think either of them would be fine nominees for the Republican Party, and certainly better than anything the Democrats put up. So allow me for a moment to actually offer my criticism in analyzing Governor DeSantis' statement here, because I think what he did yesterday is probably his first unforced error of this presidential campaign. And make no mistake, he is in fact running for president, even if he hasn't announced it yet. The use of the term hush money and porn star, that wasn't an accident, that was on purpose. Hush money? Who pays hush money? Guilty people pay hush money. People who want to hide something that they don't want anyone to know about. The mob, they pay hush money. Anyone in the media who's using the term hush money is doing it on purpose. They're trying to make Trump sound guilty, even if he's not guilty of anything. This wasn't hush money. This was an out-of-court settlement entered into by two adults, Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump, with a cash payment through their attorneys. It happens all the time. And by invoking the term hush money and the name of Stormy Daniels and a porn star, Ron DeSantis knows exactly what he's doing. He's contributing to the idea that Donald Trump is in fact guilty of something very tawdry, very dirty, and maybe even something criminal. He didn't have to do that. And he shouldn't have done that, actually. But hold on, because everybody in the Trump camp is clutching their pearls, screaming, how dare he, how dare he? Oh, I can't believe he would do such a thing. Seriously? Donald Trump has spent the last several months calling him Ron DeSanctimonious, Meatball Ron, saying that he isn't really that good of a governor, that he just, people are moving down to Florida because of the sunshine and the low taxes and the beaches, and oh, really, if there is anything good going on in Florida, it's because Charlie Crist set things up. And oh, by the way, the latest volley from Donald Trump is to suggest that Ron DeSantis has been partying with underage girls and maybe even doing something untoward with them. So spare me your fake outrage that Ron DeSantis would dare to link Donald Trump with Stormy Daniels. I mean, I think kind of a pox on both their houses with this one. That said, Ron DeSantis didn't have to go there, and he did. And that makes it an unforced error. But actually not as egregious as the next thing he said. Frankly, anyone who wants Ron DeSantis to be the Republican nominee needs to be concerned about this observation.
In terms of, we are not involved in this, won't be involved in this. I have no interest in getting involved in some type of manufactured circus by some Soros DA, okay? He's trying to do a political spectacle. He's trying to virtue signal for his base. I've got real issues I got to deal with here in the state of Florida.
Yeah, so with all due respect to Governor Ron DeSantis, by calling the potential arrest of Donald Trump over these, well, trumped up charges, by calling it a manufactured crisis, by saying that he has real issues to worry about in Florida, suggesting this is not a real issue, That tells me he doesn't know what time it is. It tells me he doesn't get it. It tells me he hasn't really been paying attention for the last several years. This is not a manufactured crisis. This is a very real problem, and the American people know it. They see it every day. There are two sets of rules for Republicans and Democrats. And the law, the United States Code, is being used as a political weapon against us. They're trying to criminalize being a conservative. And if it starts with rounding up our leaders and throwing them in jail, then that's exactly what they're going to do. And to write this off as some manufactured crisis that isn't real, that tells me he's not paying attention. And if he doesn't think that the left is going to do this to him, that he's some darling, if they just get Trump out of the way, then Ron DeSantis will be welcomed with some sort of palm trees or palm leaves like Jesus coming into Jerusalem. He's got another thing coming. He's next. We all are. Now, he can correct this. He can come out and say, let's be clear, I do understand, and I'm not saying that this isn't a real problem. He needs to do that, and he needs to do that fast. Oh, one other thing, back to the hush money question. You know, Congress has their own little hush money situation here that needs to be paid attention to. I don't know why more people in the media aren't doing this. You see, Donald Trump is now being investigated for criminal behavior because he entered an out-of-court cash settlement with Stormy Daniels to keep her mouth shut about God knows what. And that, we're told, is a criminal act because it was associated with his political campaign. Here's the dirty little secret. Over in Congress, if you're a member from, let's say, New York or San Francisco or Los Angeles, I'm picking cities represented by Democrats, and let's say you got a little handsy with one of your staffers. Let's say you patted her butt once or twice. Maybe you pushed up against her at the Xerox machine. Maybe you commented on what she was wearing or how low cut her blouse was. Let's say you just acted like, you know, Ted Kennedy, Chris Dodd, maybe even Joe Biden back in the day. If that employee sued you, if that employee brought up a complaint against you for sexual harassment, as any employee in any workplace would, certainly as somebody who worked for Donald Trump might have done, well, Congress makes it go away. Congress pays you off. Congress has you sign a non-disclosure act. Congress has a slush fund of your money, of tax dollars, that they pay legitimate, literal hush money out of. And it's all legal. It's all part of the setup here in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump, private businessman, does I don't know with Stormy Daniels, or Stormy Daniels falsely accuses of Donald Trump of doing something untoward with her. And just to make the issue go away, he throws $100,000 and some odd at her, signs on the dotted line, and now he can move on with his presidential campaign. That is criminal when it's Donald Trump. But if you're the ranking member of such and such committee from the great city of New York, it's just business as usual in Washington, D.C. And that's something Ron DeSantis could have easily said, but he didn't. Listen, it may be good politics to take advantage of an opportunity and let your political opponent twist in the wind, especially a political opponent that's been pretty hostile to you. But for most of us who are watching, we want to make sure that whoever gets the nomination for the Republican Party understands exactly what fight we're in. And yesterday, Ron DeSantis did not show that he did. There's more to come. Keep it here on Salem News Channel. It's O'Connor Tonight.